Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, and it's mailbag time. All the questions that you see from today's show were answered on December 17th, and if you're like, wait a minute here, I didn't see this mailbag, luckily for you, we're going to do another mailbag Thursday, December 19th, because we're going to be live for when the Chargers go up against the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football. So make sure you subscribe, make sure those notifications are turned on. Let's go to Shawn. Take Hunter with the number 1 pick, then give up 3 first rounds to move up to number 2 and go get Shedeur Sanders. I mean, the only problem with that is you don't have 3 first-round picks in order to do it. The way that the NFL draft works is you only can go like so many years in advance. So right now, the Raiders have picks in 2025, 2026, and in 2027. If you take Travis Hunter, then you're not going to have those 3 first-round picks that you're speaking of. So, you're not the first person to bring this up because people were like, oh, the Houston Texans were at number 2. They traded up to number 3. The price difference between 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 is way more than just 3 first-round picks. But if you want multiple Colorado players to join the Raiders, I know it's kind of crazy, but I don't think it's impossible that the Raiders get Shiloh because you got 2 safeties that are free agents, and Marcus Epps and Trevon Merrick. But one of the receivers that a name was brought up to me was the Horn. His name's Horn for Colorado. That's somebody. I know that's who Horn. That's somebody that the Raiders are eyeing because they're looking for more speedsters at the receiver position. Let's go to the I-Man report. I'd retain AOC as the backup. 99 is for Fresno. All right, shout out to Fresno. I think if the Raiders are smart, they would shut down Aidan O'Connell for the remainder of the season, and they would make him already prepared to be the backup next season. I think AOC is going to have a long, long NFL career, and having a backup quarterback that has starting caliber experience, that has had to deal with 4 different types of play callers, making $1.2 million would be a great thing that the Raiders could do, especially with all their salary cap space. Let's go to Pablo. You're next up here. I'm Team Tank, but it still sucks to lose on Monday Night Football. I think I speak on behalf of most Raider fans when I say this. I hate being a part of Team Tank. But when you are as bad as what this season has been, it's not that I woke up week 1 going, I can't wait to be Team Tank. It's in life, certain situations happen where you got to be able to make decisions. And I have already made a decision that I believe the best thing for the Raiders going forward is for them to continue to lose to get a franchise quarterback. Because when you look at the status of the AFC West right now, great head coaches, great quarterback play, good quarterback play. The Raiders got to get a head coach, and you're going to be able to get a QB. And I know people want a guy like Travis Hunter, but you could have Travis Hunter have an amazing rookie season. Look at the season that Brock Bowers is having this season, and the Raiders are still 2-12. The easiest way to get you going in the right direction is to get that franchise quarterback. Let's go to Phillip. Should the Raiders draft Travis Hunter instead of a QB? No. I really, truly do not think so. And again, I think Hunter is an unbelievable talent. He's an incredible player. I don't think he's going to be as good as what Charles Woodson was in the NFL. And I think if I'm Travis Hunter, I think that he's going to be more of a receiver. And he's a good receiver. He's a good athlete. But I really don't know if Hunter is going to be able to live up to the status that I think a lot of people are going to expect him. Because if I'm an NFL agent, I'm going to be like, Travis, you should really only play one side of the football because you're really only going to get paid like one side. So I think he's going to be a receiver at that position. And again, like I just mentioned, Brock Bowers is having an incredible rookie season. And it doesn't really matter because until you find a quarterback, that's the one player that can really, truly change an entire football team. But hey, this show's about all of y'all, and I want you to call the shots here. Type D for draft or type P for pass. Should the Raiders draft Travis Hunter instead of going out and getting a quarterback? This is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show. While that ad is playing, scroll on down, and please give me your answer. I think Travis Hunter is a phenomenal athlete, but I am all in on quarterback, and it's because that's what the Raiders need, man. The Raiders need to be able to figure out what they got at the quarterback position. Because it don't matter. If you have Travis Hunter and Brock Bowers, who's going to throw him the football? Travis Hunter, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers. Let's say you go out and get T. Higgins, and if Aidan O'Connell's your quarterback, you're not going to the playoffs. You might probably not even going to be 500. Might go, maybe be 8 or 9. I don't want to do that again. Search high. If we don't get Shedeur, draft 2 quarterbacks, Gabriel and Dart. Jackson Dart is not somebody that I am interested in at the NFL standpoint. Dylan Gabriel is a QB that I am going to start watching a little bit more film on because it was not a QB that I believed too much in. But Dylan Gabriel is a QB that the Raiders are eyeing, and both Tom Telesco and Tom Brady are looking at a QB like Gabriel because of his ability to be able to execute an offense, but also his ability to understand different lingo, and because of how much football he has played, that is appealing to both Brady and Tom Telesco. Just saying. Let's go to Cincy Boy Tie. Did you see the leaked pic of AP out at 3 a.m. out gambling before the Steelers game? What are your thoughts? I think he should be allowed to have a life. Should he be allowed to have a life? Absolutely. I'll be real. I have not seen this picture, and I'm not going to act like I have. I'll look it up after the show, no doubt about it. Should he be allowed to have a life? Yeah, absolutely. But I also don't want my head coach out before the Raiders are getting ready to go up against the team. I don't think it's a good look, especially when you're losing games. If Dan Campbell was out at 3 a.m. in Detroit gambling, people would probably love it because they're winning football games. This is just simply comes down to the Raiders are a bad team. Therefore, I want a lot more of our focus to be on the Raiders winning football games. But, I mean, he's got a lot of debt to be able to pay off, so maybe he was gambling for a reason. If you're looking for Raiders videos every day, hit that subscribe button. But if you're a Raiders fan, that's just like, man, always down to party, always down to have a good time. I am a believer in when you surround yourself with good people, when you surround yourself with people that are just like a good group, then you're going to be able to have the best version of yourself. And because this season has been so shitty, I want people to know this is going to be a Team Tank channel for the next 3 weeks. And if you need a place to go to celebrate watching the Raiders lose to get a better pick for the future, I promise you, here's a place to go. Let's go to Nate. Free agents to sign next season. T. Higgins, Javon Holland, C.J. Reed, Trey Smith. Re-sign Spillane, Hobbs, and Merrick. I am telling you that out of the players to resign, there is one guy who wears a C on his chest. He's probably the player that most of y'all look up to the most. That guy wants Robert Spillane back, and I think that the Raiders would be dumb not to listen to him. Out of T. Higgins, Javon Holland, C.J. Reed, and Trey Smith, there's a lot of different areas there, a lot of big-name guys. I don't think that you would actually be able to go out and get all of those dudes, plus play your draftees, plus be able to re-sign, plus be able to give contract extensions out there. But out of all the names, I do know for a fact T. Higgins is a name that has been brought up amongst Raider circles, and I've been saying that one for weeks. Javon Holland would be a sneaky one, though, because he's got a lot of ties to Gerald Alexander, to some of our defensive coaches. But if you don't bring back Merrick, and if you don't bring back a guy like Marcus Epps, which I don't think that they're going to bring back Epps, Merrick has a shot. Javon Holland back there at free safety. I'm a big fan of Javon Holland, man. Let's go to Game Time, because they got the best ticket prices out there. They're sponsoring today's show, and I'm telling you this right now. I love Game Time. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season, and you know what? That's what a Raiders mailbag is all about, togetherness. And that means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. And I think it's the perfect gift. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. What I love about using the Game Time app is that you get the lowest price guaranteed on any ticket to any event. All-in pricing so you don't get slapped with some of these crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, obviously. But again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS. If you don't know how to spell it, it's up there. If you don't know how to spell it, it's down there. The company that I work for is freaking ChatSports. Get it together. What time is it? It's game time. Promo code ChatSports. Links in the comment section. It's in the description if you need a cool holiday gift. Game Time's here to help you out. Let's go to Derek. What's up, my man? Is this the worst Raiders team in the last 25 years? This is the topic that we were talking about, obviously, on the live show. I mean, the 06 Raiders were bad. The Jamarcus Russell Raiders. I just think that this team would beat any Jamarcus Russell-led team. I had a few other people saying the 2014 Raiders were bad. So I'll ask the nation, is this the worst Raiders team in the last 25 years? Let's go to MGA. Does Patrick Graham return as DC next season? to be real with you, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Raiders are going to clean house. When they move on from Antonio Pierce, the name that they want is Mike Vrabel. It just depends if Mike Vrabel wants the job, from what I understand. I think Patrick Graham is a great defensive-minded coach, and if you can get a better DC than PG, I'll be real with you, I'll be a little bit surprised, because even though the Raiders have had a lot of guys banged up on defense, their defense still isn't playing all that bad. Like that game against Atlanta, was it a great game? No, but you still were able to get stops when you needed to be able to get stops, and the Falcons have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the football. I want the Raiders defensive staff to try to stay together, because I do think they have a lot of really good coaches on that side of the football, but I get how the business goes, and if Mike Vrabel's hired and he wants his own guys, it is what it is, man. Let's go to Call Me Later. Adam Schefter thinks the Raiders should keep AP. Do you? I actually don't know if that's true, what you're saying, that Schefter thinks that the Raiders should keep AP. I heard Schefter talking about the fact that he believed that Pierce was dealt a bad hand, and I agree in that regard that Pierce was dealt a bad hand. But if there's one thing that I've learned from covering this team, and I think a lot of people are probably learning, the more and more you watch the Raiders report, the more you watch a lot of these Raiders content creators out there. Schefter has more sources, but Schefter doesn't know more about the Raiders than anybody probably watching this show right now. And I think people from the outside looking in are just going, Raiders have a bad quarterback, and the Raiders have a lot of injuries, so that's not fair on Antonio Pierce. You're not wrong. But also, have you watched Antonio Pierce every single game this season? Because I have, and he hasn't done a good job being a head coach. So do you want AP to be back next season with the silver and black? Give me a yes. Give me a no. If you say yes, he is under contract. He made that clear during his interview on Tuesday. If you say no, be an overachiever and give me your prediction who you think that next Raiders head coach is going to be. Do I want AP back next season? I do not. And I say that because we can do better at the head coaching spot. When you're a CEO type of head coach and you don't call plays on offense, defense, hell, even special teams, you need to be able to prove to me that you are not only making good in-game decisions, but also doing the right things to have your team ready. And I know that the Raiders are playing hard, and they are. The Raiders are playing hard, and they played hard on Monday Night Football. But I also want a head coach that's got control of his team. And you look at Jarius Robinson, just got suspended for 3 games. You got a guy like Charles Snowden, just had a DUI, and that situation looks really ugly. Antonio Pierce, not saying he's lost the locker room, it's still a locker room that very much respects AP. But as bad as what this season has been, I don't know how anybody wants to keep Antonio Pierce as head coach. Let's go to Big Luck. Outside of quarterbacks, how confident are you in Telesco to build the trenches? I mean, he went out, he got Christian Wilkins. I thought they did a good job getting John Jenkins, Adam Butler. Those were 2 good spots in the trenches. Your offensive line, JPJ is a dog. DJ Glaze has had his ups and downs, but that's going to happen. Dylan Parham's a solid player. If they want to keep Colton Miller, they're going to have to give him another contract. I'm just telling you, he's going to want an extension. He's got 0 guaranteed on it. Yeah, they brought back Andre James, which definitely did not work out. But, I trust Tom Telesco, who had a very good draft this past season. But I trust Telesco not only to find a QB, to be able to try to build in the trenches, because he values the trenches. Not every coach values the trenches as much as Telesco does. And I think when you see how bad the O-line was this past year, the Raiders are going to make it a priority yet again. That's where I think a lot of that money's going to go. Let's go to Telesco. What do you think about the suspension of Robinson? I think Jarius Robinson is a knucklehead. I think Robinson shouldn't have even been on the team in the first place, because I just don't get how the Las Vegas Raiders continue to employ people that get DUIs. And I get it. People are like, Mitch, I had one guy tell me, Mitch, it's just a DUI. If you look at just the DUI in a situation just by itself, it's a knuckleheaded thing to do. I get it. Is it something that's worth losing your job over? No, it's not. When you combine that situation with the Henry Ruggs situation, this definitely deserves to lose a job. The Raiders are a very well-respected organization, and they have the Fred Bilenikoff rule, right, where they're not going to bring in anybody for domestic violence. Even though Jarius Robinson did not hurt anybody, even though even though Charles Snowden did not hurt anybody, and even though Jarius Robinson, when he had his DUI in the offseason, didn't hurt anybody, the point is still, how can you make these really bad decisions when you know that somebody on your team just a few years ago made that type of decision? But the suspension around Robinson is solely just based on PEDs, and maybe he was just trying to get on the field. Maybe he was trying to recover from an injury because the Raiders only have 3 defensive ends on the roster right now: Tyree Wilson, Jarius Robinson, and did I already say Tyree Wilson? And Caleb Chasen. Yeah. Let's go to Thugador. AP is a Raider at heart, and I believe deep down he wants what's best for us, which is to tank, but cannot on purpose, in fear of losing his job for next year. Feel like you put it in a good way. You can get a bad hand and still find a way to win, but you need to be smart and play your cards right, and AP hasn't. Like, I don't think that AP wants to lose because of what's best for the Raiders. AP, if anything, probably wants to win to show that, you know what, I can win in the NFL, that I can do this thing despite everything that the Raiders have dealt with. But we also have to be able to just be honest with ourselves, right? Like, I think that this is one of those situations where I had this discussion in Vegas with a Raiders fan. Had same thing around Antonio Pierce. And my analogy to him was like, you want your kid to go to college, and you pay money to get your kid to go into college, right? We wanted Antonio Pierce to be the head coach, and Antonio Pierce is the head coach. But if your kid goes to college and he's a knucklehead and he's drinking, he's spending money, he's failing, he's getting shitty grades, are you going to be a parent that goes, you know what? Let's put him in college again. Let's get him in there another year. I think sometimes you just got to be able to read the tea leaves and go, it's not for everybody. And being a head coach in the NFL is not for everybody. Antonio Pierce is going to get another shot to coach. He's just not going to get another shot to be a head coach. Let's go to John Rodriguez. Army quarterback for me. I'll be no. No. Jalen, Neighbors and Bowers both have 90 catches. Who's going to finish this season with more grabs? So I know a lot of you are like, is Brock Bowers going to break the rookie reception record this season? Bowers has got 90 catches in 14 games. Neighbors has got 90 grabs in 12 games. If Aidan O'Connell is the starter for the next 3 games, Bowers will break the record. If Desmond Ridder is the QB, then I don't know if Bowers will, simply because of how bad Desmond Ridder is and how bad the offense is with him. I was going to say under center, but he don't even go under center. Out of shotgun. If you guys want to tune in and hang out with us, Chuggs said the Poop Bowl. This might be the game I'm most looking forward to. That's actually, no, it's week 18. If we're in this position week 18, that game's going to be electric. But also, Monday Night Football was electric. I mean, we had for the first time in a long time over 4,000 people watching, which usual Raiders Report seasons, that's nothing, right? Like, we usually get 4, 5, 10, 15,000 people watching a watch party at one time because people care about the game. I think for the first time in a long time, people are starting to care because of the tank. And it's like, if we've made it through this much of a shit season, I don't want all of that to go to waste. But you got a 3-11 Jags team on the road up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Mac Jones probably up against Aidan O'Connell. Again, I'm making this video on a Tuesday, and everything AP said, it sounded like AOC is going to be the guy. But when you really look at how the number 1 overall pick could fall and where the Raiders' quarterback situation is, this is a monumental game, and the Raiders need to do the right thing and lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars.